Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator and I'm pleased to show you how to make this cute Hexagon Pop Up Card. This is how it is flat and then it pops up to stand up. Not sure you'll be able to see it. And then on the inside it has a paper spring. So I made a couple of them and that's how it looks when it's up. So let's get started. On the website, all of the dimensions will be there, all the scoring and cutting, and then there will also be this diagram of how it's supposed to look when you are doing the folds. The first piece we're taking is a 10.5 by 2.5 piece of, I'm using white, because we'll be doing this card, this one, and so I have it scored at 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 5, 6 3/4, 8 1/4, and 10. So on the one that has the 10, there'll be a little, this is really hard to see, there'll be a 1/2 inch score line. So we'll fold, I always start at the left because I'm left-handed, and let's see if that's better. That's a little bit better. So then we'll just score on all of the score lines and folding them all back. So here's my 1/2 inch, the 10-inch one, and just pushing them all back like so. And so you'll end up with a piece looking like this. We will then decorate it, and there are different sizes of little hexagon things here. So one is 1 3/4 and one is 1 1/2. So there'll be two of them that are 1 1/2, one on each side, the second from the end, basically. So we're putting a piece of 2 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch piece on just those. Sorry about the lighting here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that'll help. And then on the other side, so you have a bigger one, and then the little smaller one, and that's where the other piece goes. And I'm using designer paper that is the Country Floral, and it has a one-way design, so you have to be careful that you don't do them upside down. Okay, so that's these two. Now we're decorating the other 4. And these are 1 1/2 by 2 1/4. This also has a right side up, so I have to make sure I do that wrong, or do it right. And if you got the kit for club members, these pieces will be too small sideways. I didn't realize that till after I got them out in the mail. So just so that you're aware, they will be a little, they'll be the same, they'll all be the same size, but they should not be. They should be wider on the 4s than they are on the 2s. Okay, and the last one. Alright, now we start the assembly. So we will take, you can use tear and tape, or you can use glue. I'll do glue, it's a little quicker. So we're gluing on the 1/2 inch side here, and you don't need a lot of glue. You can kind of see I just have a little strip because it will ooze out. And what I found works the best is if you fold it down a couple of on the score lines and then fold this over, then you'll get it so it will lay nice and flat. And then make sure it's all flat. So now this is how it will look. Both sides are the same. And then the 2 like that. Okay, next step is taking what I'm calling the arch, and this piece is 1 1/2, 4 by 1 1/2, and it's scored at 2 and then 3/8 on each side. So we will fold it in on the ends, and then fold it in half in the center. Now you don't need to burnish any of it with your bone folder, because that could cause some problems, especially with the springs. So now we're going to take some glue and put it on one side of the little on our arch, just in the score lines. Again, it's hard to see here, on the score lines. Now I'm going to lay it on its side with the smaller side up and the smaller side down, and I'm going to put it on the score line right in between there. Let's see if we can. So this is right in that little groove there. And now we will put some glue or tear and tape, and glue is nice because it's forgiving in case you mess up. So then, see, that's all crooked, so I want to turn it a little bit. There we go. Now I'm putting the glue on the other tab, on the front side of the tab, the outside, and pushing it down inside and just pushing this down, and then it's adhering. So now we will have something that looks like this. The next step is taking our springs, and there are 2 of these. They're 2 by 9.5, and if you are making this and you cut them, get all my score lines going the same way, you can take a 4-inch piece by 9.5 and then score it all at once. Then you're only scoring once, and then cut it in half to 2 inches. So again, all of the score lines will be marked on the website. So now there are, I'll show you here, but there's a 1.5-inch piece to start with. So you'll fold that down, and then you will fold the next smaller one, they're about 3/4 inch, up, down, up, down, and then you'll come to another 1.5-inch part. Then you'll turn it, and this can go just let it fall down. Then you'll start from this piece, fold it down, up, down, up, down, and you'll end up with your little tab. So this is what it looks like when you're doing the folding. Now we will glue the small little tab here, like so, and this we will just push everything down. This is where tear and tape probably might work a little better. So we're just making it flat and pushing it, and this is what we end up with. This is our first spring. We're calling it a spring. So here's the little tab in here, and now we'll do the same thing on the other one. So we'll start on the big end, the wider end, like so, and then down, up, down, up, down. Here's our bigger piece. Oops, right here. Turn it, down, up, down, up, down. Again, you don't want to burnish these because then the spring won't be quite as effective. End up like that. Glue the end, and then just push it all down. Trying to do this so you guys can see it. Okay, this goes in, and this goes over, like so. I hope the demonstration, as well as the picture, you can figure it out. It's not difficult, it's just trying to get it going the right way. So now we have the 2 springs, and we're going to glue them together. So I put glue on one of the wider parts of the spring. Again, you can use tear and tape, it's less messy. but the only thing is it's not forgiving, the tear and tape. This, if you don't get it perfectly straight, you can always slide it around till it dries. So now we have the two together. Give it just a moment. And this is what it looks like. So they're just two together. Now we're going to attach it to our card. And I tried doing it before I glued this together, but it just didn't seem to work. It might for you, but I just couldn't get it to work. So I'm just going to put glue on one end of, or one side of our spring, and it works best when you keep it as flat as you can. So the glue is here. I'm flipping it over, putting it on the bottom part, sliding it in. Let's see if I can do this. Sliding it in on our handle, our little arch side. So here's our arch, and here's our spring. So I hope you can see that. Just going to hold it for a moment. And you can kind of see the inside. So here's our spring, or our arch right here. And then here's our spring. So now I'm going to let it go, and that's what it'll look like. And again, what I found worked best is once you have one end glued or put the tape on, you'll just pull it out, add your glue or tape, and then tuck it back in, pushing it down all the way flat. You'll push this flat, and then flatten this. And that's how you get your spring, like that. And this all fits into an A2 envelope. So it's not difficult, it's just a little, you just gotta play with it a little bit, but the result is so great, I think. Next, I'm taking an oval. So this is what the front will look like. An oval from the frame florets, and that is this particular piece. So I use these for another project, the outside, because the inside cuts the oval. And we will put this on the card and then decorate it. So to put it on the card, this from top to bottom is 4 1/4. So, and this is 5, I think it's 5 1/2. But that's the only way I could figure it out to make it fit into the envelope. So this piece, as you can see, the white kind of pops, the white is wider. So all I did is took a pencil and just mark it a little bit. And so here's my little marks. And we'll just trim that. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want to trim it inside the marks. And just give it a little bit of a trim. Like so, and like so. And that's how you get so you know where to do it. Then we will put more glue on the tab on the top. Looks like a tab now. And take our oval. It can be any shape. It doesn't have to be an oval. Put it on the top so that the tops line up. And then center it. And just hold it down for a moment for the glue to dry. Again, you can use tear and tape, but you'll want to put the adhesive on the tab part right here. You can put something on the back. In the class, I took some of this designer paper and just had little squares and put it on there. But for now, I don't have them available, so I'm just doing this. The next step is stamping the hearts. And I'm using the Country Floral stamp set, which is missing in action, the whole stamp set. But I do have the stamp that I'm going to use and the punch. And this is the punch that goes with it in the, it has all the hearts and a little heart and 2 leaves. So I took a 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock, like 5 1/2 by 2 or something, And a little trick for this part, because of these little leaves, when you try to punch it out, if you don't spread them out correctly, then you'll end up ruining your hearts. So I found that works the best is, I'll do these in Balmy Blue, is stamping one side with a heart and then another side, so you have each end, and then stamp one in the middle like that. And that spread there seems to be perfect. So then we'll punch them out. And see, now it left enough room so that I didn't get the leaf on the heart. Ouch. And you don't want to put your hand in the punch because that hurts. I haven't done that in years. So that's how they'll all punch out. And you can use the white leaves if you do them in white, or just use something else. So one of these, I do use dimensionals. And we'll put a couple dimensionals on the back. And the others are flat. So I start with the flat one. And when you decorate, it works nice to just layer your card flat. And then, so the first one is flat, the next one will be raised. And put that over there. And then the third heart I'm putting over here. Then I'll add the leaves, and I punch these out already in mint macaron. And when you glue these, you just want to glue half of it, half of the leaf, because otherwise if you extend it over the oval, then it'll stick to everything. So I'm just sort of lifting that up. Glue in the next one on the right over here. And then I'll do another one over here. Usually you do odd numbers. This is number 3, of course. And again, lift this up. It's only half of the back of this does not have adhesive on. Then for the sentiment, I have an inch piece of scrap, and I'm stamping the sentiment, and it says, "I love that we are friends," which is kind of cool. It's not too personal. If that's, so I'm just stamping that in black. And 3 inches, for this piece to be 3 inches, it's, or well, I guess about 3 inches is a good size. And then I have this new punch, and I don't recall the name of it right now, but it has, which is better to show you. It has, it's almost like a ticket punch. There we go. And it has little squiggles. So I'm taking the larger one and pushing it all the way in. And I like to do these backwards so that I can see that this, otherwise the piece could go crooked. So this ensures it'll go straight. And so see, it looks like a ticket. And when you attach this, you just put adhesive on half of it, on the left half or the right half, whichever side you put your sentiment on. And again, lay it flat. I'm sticking it under that one little heart a little bit, making sure it's straight. And there you have it. You can add a few gems if you'd like. I'm using some retired fine sparkle adhesive little gems, and I'm just putting those on the heart. Again, not necessary, but I have them and they match perfectly. So there we go. So it just adds a little something. And so we have this one, and then we have the red one, and they have two different looks, and then they just pop right up. They might be a little thicker for a regular envelope, but it's worth the extra postage, I think. This could be great for also a any occasion for that matter. You could do a cute baby card. I picture that. This any shape, a thinking of you, and they always have it because it stands up so nicely. So I hope you enjoyed making this. Sorry it was a longer video, but I just think it was worth it. So thanks for watching and have a great day.